Today on Beyond the Badge, a sit-down with Corporal Darquis Brown. He's fairly new to the property crimes unit here at the Columbus Police Department, but he's already making a mark, and if you ask around, apparently he's allergic to half measures. We'll talk about what pulled him into detective work, the case that put an elderly man back on solid ground, and the moments that shaped him along the way. Corporal Darquis Brown, thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you.
I kind of hyped you up a little bit in the intro, and I have to let you go back and listen to that for yourself. Okay. I recorded it while you weren't in here. So we're going to learn all about you today, okay?
Okay.
And a lot of the people who are going to be listening to this podcast, they're going to be like, okay, so what does he do? And you get to explain all that because you've done a lot. I've been here, since September 2022.
Yeah.
And your name is the name that keeps coming up, okay? Yeah. And it's not for bad stuff. I promise it's not for bad stuff. It's all the things that you are doing here at the police department, making a mark wherever you go. Right. Now, before we started recording, I talked about you being in patrol, and in my mind, I felt like you went straight from patrol to property crimes, but that's not the case. Tell us about, your time in patrol and where you are now.
Yeah, I got here in beginning of 2020 early, and I started in patrol, of course. Did that for a few years, and then I actually had a small stint upstairs in special operations. I was on the TAC squad, and then shortly after came right back to patrol, continued training newer officers, and then spent another year in patrol, and then just recently here, back in April, I just moved up here to property crimes, became a detective up here in property crimes.
What's that transition been like for you?
It's different. A lot more paperwork. A lot more digging you have to do than you do in patrol. A lot of behind the scenes that I did not realize they did up here. I'll be honest, in patrol, a lot of times you think detectives just sit at the desk and do nothing, but it's a lot. It's a lot. Big difference with trying to keep up with your paperwork, keep up with your reports, and it's different. It's different.
So what would you say to the patrol officers who at some point may want to become a detective and they think that detectives don't do anything? What would you say to them?
Write good reports. Write good reports. I had a couple sergeants who were very, we call them grammar police, who just ridiculed any reports that come through, and I see why now. It makes a difference. When you go to court, it makes a difference. When public are reading the reports, it just makes a big difference in everything that you do. Hindsight
is always 20/20.
Yes, it is.
But when you do the work on the front end, everything else will kind of fall into place on the back end. Yeah. Am I right?
Yeah.
Okay,
most
cool.
Definitely. Oh, yeah, you're right.
So what's your why? What keeps you showing up and ready to dig in each day?
I'll say even in patrol up until now, just coming in and being, you're almost the voice for those who can't speak up for themselves. You come in and you have the mindset of, I want to go home at the end of the night, but I'm willing to do whatever is needed for the protection of others who just can't protect themselves, So I say just, coming in, feeling motivated every day just to want to help somebody,
Speaking of helping somebody, all right, you had a recent case where a man was on the brink of losing a large amount of money.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
And you stepped in at a great time because of a citizen, a driver who noticed something was going on. Tell us about that.
Yeah, I was it was Friday evening. We had just got off work, and I went straight to the barbershop, get my weekend started, and I had got a message from a male named Mr. Cortland Dixon. I didn't really know him, but he had reached out, and I said, I guess I'll give him my number and see what he wants, because he kept saying, hey, I need to speak to you. So he gave me a call, and he was just as frantic as most is, hey, I got this guy who I'm driving, and we just took out a large sum of money, and he's wanting me to take him to another bank to take out more money, and he needs this money because he said he was trying to pay a bill, but the actions just didn't speak. The actions didn't match for someone trying to pay a bill. He said he was on the phone for hours with while he was driving him to other locations as well. He was on the phone with a guy with a heavy accent, but the caller ID was like an American name. He said that his passenger was just a little more frantic than normal. Stayed on the phone the whole time, which wasn't a normal ride for him. So Mr. Dixon had asked a friend, hey, do you mind if I have you talk to somebody I know? I think you're being, scammed. I can get you some help. And the victim, they had him so scared he didn't know what to do. So Mr. Dixon gave me that call, and I called him right back and immediately called my supervisor, Lieutenant Edenfield, and she knew I wasn't going to just sit down, even if I was off. I told her, this is what I'm going to do. I'm just kind of letting you know, we got to get this man some help. I think he's about to lose out on $20,000. So the first thing I did was raise dispatch. Dispatch was quickly getting patrol officers to respond because they were going to have him put this money almost like in a shoebox, and a carrier was going to come and pick it up. Told him he had all kind of warrants for his arrest and everything. So patrol got there pretty quick and responded. Mr. Dixon also went back out to his customer's house, which, myself and Lieutenant Edenfield appreciated that because most times the drivers are in on this stuff. We get a lot of cases where the drivers are in on the scamming. And the fact that he saw the clues and just had that heart to want to help his customer, it stood out to us a lot. We got him situated, but Mr. Hollyfield, the victim, wanted me to assist him with going to the bank Monday morning to try to get this rectified. And he called me a couple times through the weekend. I gave him my number, and the suspects or the scammers were even calling him throughout the weekend saying, hey, because you did not put the money out, we got a warrant, and they were using my name. So the victim actually thought that I had taken out a warrant for him, and he called me Saturday while I was with my family. He said, I thought you were trying to help me. And I said, look, they're going to press you until they get you. Just hold still, and I will come to you Monday morning, and we'll get you situated. So we went to his bank and got the money put back in, and I helped him put some alerts on his accounts. I also showed him how to block numbers, and we actually changed his phone number. And we actually called the scammer back on the phone, and they didn't like the conversation that I had with them. And he saw, he got to see firsthand what I was talking about. So, I was just doing my job, but I feel like Mr. Dixon really stepped in and really helped out. We see this every day where victims are getting scammed out of thousands and thousands of dollars, and suspects, it's just hard to find.
So it's a lot to unpack there.
Yeah.
But Cortland Dixon is definitely that superhero.
Oh, yeah.
Without the cape, because we always say, look out for your neighbor, look out for each other. Because a lot of people just don't know. Yeah. And I tell people all the time, we talk about the violent crimes, we talk about many other things, the aggravated assaults, all those things. Mm-hmm. But financial crimes, scams, fraud, all those things impact people more than anything else. Yeah. We've all gotten that call about a car warranty or we have a warrant that, if you don't pay us in Bitcoin, we're going to come and lock you up. But when have we ever asked for money?
Right.
It
was one of those moments where, like you said, Mr. Dixon he was a superhero without the cape that day, but it was an eye-opener for a lot of people to understand that property crimes are just as important as a violent crime. It's just as important as a crime against a child. They're all important to us all.
Absolutely.
We've had victims over here give their entire life savings and go homeless, go broke, because they fell for a suspect or a scammer who told them they had a warrant, or your grandchild is in jail and need bond, and just all kind of different things they come up with.
So shout out to Cortland Dixon for seeing the signs, for speaking up, and for just sending you a message. And y'all didn't even know each other, but he knows the work that you do, so he felt comfortable reaching out to you. That's great. So what should people learn from this situation?
One of the biggest things is I always hear when Lieutenant Edenfield, she does 1,000 presentations a month, but one of the things I always hear her say is, if you're not sure on the phone call, if you're not sure, hang the phone up. Don't be so quick to just fall for whoever's on the other line. Look at the signs. Is it normal to pay your rent in Bitcoin? Did you do anything to have a warrant out for your arrest? Do you have a grandchild that lives here locally who is in jail? Or pay attention to those signs when they're on the phone, because a lot of times what they're saying doesn't really make sense. I think people get so scared when they hear that word jail or warrant, or if you don't do this, then this is gonna, and it's scary. But just kind of noticing what is in front of you. If you didn't pay to play in the lottery, or what is it, the a publisher,
clearinghouse.
If you didn't sign up for it, then why would you be getting $10,000 and then you need to pay to get this to get it back? It's pay attention.
That's right. Yeah. Pay attention. That's a good lesson. But can you help me set the record straight here and let people know? Are we going to call someone telling them that they have a warrant and they need to pay? What do y'all typically do with people who have warrants?
I'm showing up.
That's right.
We're not going to call you and say, hey, you have a warrant, and to get out of that warrant, you must pay X, Y, and Z. That's not going to happen. I don't care what agency it is. That's not going to happen.
Might get a little knock at your door.
Yeah,
okay.
You might get a knock or two at the door. But yeah.
I got you. So you recently got, is it Officer of the Quarter?
Yes. Yeah.
And now Lieutenant Edenfield put you in for that.
Yeah.
So then let me scale back a little bit here. Yeah. You just got in a property crimes unit in April of this year.
Yes.
So you've already gotten Employee of the Quarter.
Yeah.
You've received recognition for this recent case with this elderly man who was almost out of money. So you're just like doing the work. But tell us about why you were nominated and received Officer of the Quarter.
Yeah, I was working a case. It started off with one case, and then one turned into many. I was assigned a case about some fraudulent charges that occurred from a customer after eating at a local restaurant. And then they were noticing, just as quick as they were paying for their tab, thousands of dollars was coming off the card. And a lot of it was using the tap pay method, and so their bank was saying, "Hey, we're not going to be able to reimburse you for this, based off the spending patterns and the tap pay method that was used, the location that was used. This appears to be something that you may or may not have done, but we have to investigate." Then one turned into two, and then the very next day I got three, and then Lieutenant Edenfield and a former Lieutenant Taft that I had at the time, they both kind of said, 2 and 2 equals 4, something. This is the same location, same restaurant. They are all describing, just as they were paying for their food, this was occurring. They all had the same server. Something didn't make sense. So took some digging, some search warrants, and then finally got the information that I needed. After getting some of that stuff in front of I stayed long nights trying to dig. And when I got what I needed, I I was able to find my spreadsheet right now. We're sitting at about 80 plus victims.
From this one location?
From this one location.
Okay.
Multiple servers, one location. And the reports just started rolling in, victim after victim after victim. And so what was happening was they were using the Shopify app or any kind of POS mode, POS system that can be downloaded on a cell phone, and they were tapping the cards. And so these customers who thought they were going crazy were not. They were right. You know, their server was utilizing their cards. So that was that took up most of the summer. You know, and they were rolling in. The victims were rolling in, and some of them lost everything they had. You know, because the card was being ran until it couldn't get ran anymore. So some lost everything. You know, so. That was a long summer. I had a lot of help with the other detectives over here in property crimes because, you know, I was still a new detective, so a lot of them were helping out. Edenfield was a big, big help, you know, so I appreciate my unit as a whole. They helped out a lot with that case. That's a lot to try to manage as a new detective, getting that many cases, so.
That's wild. I know that Lieutenant Edenfield, she does a bi-weekly segment on WRBL, and when this took place, or after this happened, she did a segment about it, about the importance of making sure that you're checking your account. But when you go out to eat, you know, making sure that, one, you follow where that card goes, or either you pay at the table with the little kiosk that they have there now, or simply paying in cash.
Cash, gift cards. If you got a gift card, use it. You know, it's unfortunate that we had to get to this point, but, you know, that's just what we're dealing with. You know, you want to make sure also as you're eating out that you're looking at your statement.
Absolutely.
Watch your statement. Read your statement. Every time I leave the restaurant, I verify my charge just to make sure that the amount is correct and that it's what it's supposed to be.
Exactly. And, you know, we all like to go out to eat from time to time, but just taking that extra step to make sure that you're not being scammed because, you know, thieves are getting more, what is the word that I'm looking for? I don't know. They're just evolving without, you know.
You know, what's crazy is a lot of the victims were, which was a good thing, they actually had alerts set up on their phone. So every time a transaction is being made, they were getting alerted. That's how they were seeing it just at the restaurant. But, you know, at the time, they're kind of confused, like, I don't understand where this is coming from. But, you know, that's what it took for me to have to do the digging. You know?
Gotcha. You doing the digging, doing the detective work, and staying long hours, putting in that extra effort because you care.
Oh, yeah. Many, many nights where Lieutenant Taft and Edenfield both were, go home. I'm like, oh, I'm going. But, you know, it's a lot. It's a lot. You know, but you want to make sure you do it right, you know. So
that's right. And that's, you're doing a great job.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
So we talked earlier about this too, but every officer, detective, they all have this one story that sticks with them or like a case that sticks with them.
Okay.
What's one that you have that you carry with you? And it can be a funny one, but don't get yourself in trouble.
I think to this day, when I was a rookie, when I was still in field training, my FTO at the time, Corporal Blanks, but now Sergeant Blanks, she kept telling me, she kept telling me the same location over and over to get to this one specific spot. And just about every day we were going to that location. It's in my beat, so I should know where it's at. You know, I'm still fresh on the street, still training though. And she told me, you're not going to use this map. You're going to learn how to get there in case of an emergency. You should know how to get there. I want you to learn north, south, east, or west, which I knew nothing about at that time.
I still don't.
Still struggling with it a little bit. But we got a call where I needed to run lights and sirens. First time running lights and sirens. I pull my little map out, and she says, "No, put that up. put it up. You've been every day. You're gonna get us there." So we're running lights and sirens. I'm 2 hands on the wheel, nervous, scared. She's in the passenger seat, just as calm as can be. And then dispatch raises and says, "Hey, are y'all in the area?" And she's looking at me. I'm looking at her. I'm like, "You gonna tell me where to go?" And she's like, "Nope. You gonna get us there."
Oh man.
And I just remember I got so mad at the time, and she's over there just like, "You'll figure it out. You're gonna get there." And she told dispatch, "We're coming. We're getting there." Finally, when I found it, all I had to do was make a left turn, and I was right there in my spot. I was so angry at the time, and I remember just now we laugh about it because I was in FTO for a while before I came upstairs, and same way, try to learn where you're at, learn your locations, and you're not going to use that map every time. Because what if it goes down?
That's right.
You need to know where you're going at all times, So that's one of those moments where I got so angry. Oh, man, I was so mad with her. But now my rookies are like, why are you doing this? I'm like, it was done to me. And it made me gave me a better understanding of learning location, learning where you're at, learning your beat. So we laugh at it now, but she'll tell you I wasn't.
You wasn't happy
I
then?
wasn't a fan of her back then, yeah.
Well, great job to her.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
So we talk about, like you just mentioned, now Sergeant Blanks, Lieutenant Taft, Lieutenant Edenfield, all great supervisors that you've had along the way. What is it like working under them? How do you feel like they help mold you into the detective that you are now?
Yeah, so my very first sergeant I had, he's retired now, but Sergeant Lawrence, he showed you, he kept you grounded as a rookie, kept you, gave you a better understanding of all around what your job should be. And then shortly after, I had Sergeant Waldy, who, he showed me more of the proactiveness of how to, properly do a traffic stop and, asking the right questions. Then I get with Sergeant Tunin now. She's a Command Sergeant Tunin. She taught me how to do the detective work, how to ask the tough questions, the reports, the follow-up. She didn't care what time of day it was. You were going to go do your follow-ups. She didn't care if it was a misdemeanor or a felony. You were going to get out there and do your follow-up. You were going to ask those questions. And so it prepared me, I think. All 3 of those previous supervisors prepared me, I think, to when I got to Sergeant Edenfield, now Lieutenant Edenfield. It prepped me on what I needed to do. And so it made the transition easy to go to Lieutenant Edenfield because she's just like the rest of them. She had a standard. She was going to kick my reports back. She was going to kick my warrants back. She was going to make sure that the work was right. So I feel like the previous supervisors that I had, it made me to what I am today. So I feel like you can learn a little bit from all your supervisors.
Absolutely.
All of them. From the moment you get here up until now, I've learned from every single one of my sergeants. So
that's amazing.
Yeah.
So what's, and just for fun, what's something about the job that most people would never guess?
That's a good one.
Ooh, got him a little speechless.
I think the biggest thing, let me say this. I think the biggest misconception is that all officers are mean and don't care or, not there to help. But what people don't realize is just about every single one of us didn't sign up to do this to ruin someone's day. We didn't sign up to do this to hurt or harm anybody. A lot of us signed up to do this to truly help, and a lot of us have fun while doing it. So I think that's just I switched up a little bit. I think that's just the biggest misconception.
You did switch up my question, but it's okay. I'll take it.
Well, you stumped me a little bit, so yeah. So,
it's okay. Yeah. It's okay. But thank you so much for your time. Thank you for all that you do. And for setting the bar, because, I mean, I don't know, anyone who comes behind you, they have like some big shoes to fill.
And I still got a while to go, but, you know, I feel like every day I'm still learning. It doesn't matter how long you've been here, 6 months or 6 years, every day you're learning something. So
that's right.
You know.
Well, thank you again.
I appreciate
all that you do.
I appreciate it.
I'll let you off the hook today.
I appreciate it.
Okay. All right. Thank you all so much for joining us. Until next time.